Bill here. It's October 11th, and today we're going to talk about what is bullion part 2. But before we do that, just a brief mention of the numbers. All the details are in the write-up, but people are looking for safe havens, or they have over the past week, and so we have all four of the metals higher this week. Gold's up 3%, silver's up I believe 5%, and all the details are there in the write-up. But let's talk about the question, what is bullion part 2? And frankly, bullion is important because 20% of all bullion is owned by central banks around the world. So when you think about bullion, the first thing we should think about is a core holding, a core asset, a foundational part of any precious metals investor's portfolio. So bullion provides direct exposure to the price movements of the physical metal. So over time, there are other types of products like historical coins, investment grade products, proof coins. The value of those instruments is tied to their rarity, to their condition, to their historical significance. But those factors play a very minor role, if any, in bullion products. The value of bullion products is primarily connected to the intrinsic value of the metal itself. So, for example, I received some gold from a family member that was purchased by my great-grandfather, and back around 1910 or sometime like that. He paid $10 for a half-ounce $10 gold piece, essentially. Now, over time, I believe the coin was dated 1889, I forget the exact year. But in any event, the gold value, the bullion value of that coin is just the price for a half ounce of gold, which today would be somewhere between $900 to $1,000, let's say, closer to $1,000. But the collector value of that coin, based on the condition, based on the rarity, based on the particular year, that could be $2,400 or $2,500. So that difference between the value of the metal and the condition and rarity belongs only to collectible coins. But as just a bullion coin, the intrinsic value is little more than just the value of the metal itself. So you have to look at the condition, the rarity, and the historical significance of other types of metal to determine their value. And again, bullion products are more liquid. They're easily bought and sold when they're available. And whereas with investment grade coins, you need a little bit of time to get it when you go to sell, because you want the right buyer to purchase that and to get your full value from those coins and bars. But another way to look at bullion is it's really a measurement of what's happening to your local paper currency. People sometimes say gold or silver has gone up or down. Really, it's more a function that the paper currencies or the fiat currencies have gone up or down. And you should think of bullion more in terms of purchasing power. And as an example, in a book that I wrote, The 7% Solution, we talk about how that gold and silver can be considered forever money. You buy a postage stamp, a forever stamp, and even if postage goes up, if you apply that stamp to your letter, it's going to get delivered. Even if the price has gone up 50% for new postage stamps, if you still have some unused forever stamps, it'll get that piece of mail mailed and delivered. And in the same way, gold, even though the dollar price changes, you can think of it in terms of purchasing power. A common thread throughout history is that an ounce of gold will buy a really nice, well-made, well-tailored men's suit. And that has happened whether a suit cost $100 or $2,000. It's still true today. Another example that I talked about in the book, if you look back 250 BC and you look at the cost of a quart of grain, the amount of silver it would take to purchase a quart of wheat, for example, that same amount of silver would buy the same amount of wheat today. Now, there's not very many currencies that will do that. Paper currencies won't do that. If you look at the cost of a gallon of milk today versus even only 20 years ago, let alone 2,000 years ago, it would take a lot more currency units if the currency even existed anymore, which oftentimes they don't. You know, usually after about 500 years, most currencies have run their course and they're on to something different. But bullion is a way to protect your purchasing power